Commission open for business. Could you please call the roll, Diane?
Yes. Commissioner Gibson.
Here.
Commissioner McEwen.
Here.
Commissioner Crampton.
Here.
Commissioner Spangler.
Here.
Commissioner Schmidt.
Present.
And Commissioner McCarthy.
Here.
And Commissioner Panetta. Okay.
We're now scheduled to hear a presentation of the Parks and Rec Commission, the Parks and Rec Department operations for the last 3 months. Karen, would you start us off, please?
Yes, and if Nate's going to bring up the presentation for us. Meanwhile, are we sure that everything's good to go? Does it seem like everyone is able to log in and view the meeting? I just wonder if I could hear from Nate or Shannon to make, or Diane, if you guys feel like everything is functioning properly.
I think it's
Yeah,
working
so-
from my end.
So I am in the meeting and I do see other attendees in the meeting as well.
Perfect, thank you. So good evening, commissioners. Tonight we have a presentation for you to give you our division update for each area. We'll be covering the months of December, January, and February. And we look forward to letting you know everything we've been up to. Next slide. I think Louis is going to start. Maybe Louis doesn't realize he's muted.
Sorry. We did some drainage work over at Hilltop, got some drains unplugged there. Our usual athletic field prepping. Our maintenance at Salisto, we're having a little problem with the turf manufacturer there, so we're a little slow on the getting the maintenance complete at Salisto. And did our usual transient camp removal. We've been doing some landscaping around the city, so a few plants planted, and it's just the normal there. This is the project over at Hilltop, where we're puddling in the middle there. And so we've promoted Tice to assistant urban forester. So far, he's been doing great there. A long time ago, we responded to some significant winter storm event. Wish we could have some more. And I think that's about it. We've been doing a lot of tree inspections and permits, getting our trees trimmed. Cemetery operations as usual. Nothing to add there.
Okay, just making sure I'm not muted. So Recreation Division, we are going to review our special events programs, field sports divisions, El Estero, Hilltop, and Schultz. And those are the areas we are focusing on for fiscal year 2022. We held our, as you know, as we updated you back in December, we had just finished out our Thanksgiving drive-through. We held our holiday drive-through on December 23rd. It was our second annual event. It was a bigger success than Thanksgiving. We exceeded our meal kits from Thanksgiving by roughly 15 meal kits. Even though it was raining, it was probably the biggest rain of the whole year. And you could see in the photo, we were really soaked and drenched. And it was but everyone had a really good day and it went very smoothly. And maybe the turnout was as good as it ended up being because of the rain. I'm not really sure, but it went seamlessly and it was all hands on deck, and everyone in the rec division really chipped in and did an amazing job. And then we also continue to partner with the food bank because without them, we couldn't have done that. We wouldn't have had the food. The Kiwanis were instrumental in getting donations and also assisting on that day, as well as helping with the home deliveries and the walk-up portion for those people who did not drive. And then we brought a lot of support from the Monterey Fire Department and Police Department, as well as some volunteers from our Monterey High School Spark Academy, which is our sports and athletic and recreation careers academy at Monterey High School. So we didn't have the Defense Language Institute volunteers that we had for Thanksgiving. We actually ended up having more volunteers than we anticipated, but DLI has their Christmas holiday where they basically let everyone off base. So we had to find a new pool of volunteers for Christmas, and it went really, really well. We were just very, very cold and wet by the end of the day. Adult field sports programs continue to go amazing. We are exceeding 2019 pre-pandemic numbers. We just finished our Ultimate Frisbee League. That's our champions right there. We started our spring men's and co-ed softball league on the 26th with 21 teams. And then we're preparing to head into our summer leagues for men's and co-rec softball. And then field sports, youth camps and leagues, again, are doing very well. We finished up our youth flag football league, which was held at Solicito. Those numbers, again, exceeded 2019 enrollment. We normally have a spring track and field program that meets 2 days a week in the spring for about 6 weeks. Unfortunately, we don't have access to the MPC track this year. They have closed their campus to outside groups. So we've had to rethink things. And instead of having a 6-week program, we're doing a camp. So we're offering a spring break camp during the MPUSD spring break, track and field at Solicito. And then we're also planning for summer camps, which last year were very successful and exceeded previous years. We're shooting for basketball, flag football, a track and field camp, our beach volleyball camp, and our Challenger International Soccer program. And then field sports facilities and revenue continue to be our most popular program. Monterey Amberjacks, we're planning for the return of them. They will be playing games Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Solicito in June and July. They plan to have at this point their all-star game with us, as well as their spring training. And they will probably be bringing back their youth training camp, which is usually on Fridays before their games. So that'll be another program that we're looking to offer for the youth. So the coaches for that will be the players from the Pecos League. And then we hope that the season goes really well, the weather keeps up, and they actually have 2 players that are hopefully going to make it into the majors this year. So things are really picking up for the Pecos League. There again continues to be high demand for city facilities and outdoor sports. We in about 9 months of time have made about as much revenue from our sports fields and facilities as we did in 2019 in a full fiscal year. So we're just trying to do our best to program our facilities with offering our programs, as well as allowing access for outside groups, and still accommodating Monterey High School and the Pony League, who are in their baseball softball season. Revenue is at 73.7% when I pulled those numbers. So that's fiscal year 2022 revenue. And we also, effective March 1st, had our full-time sports coordinator reinstated. And that was because of the demand for our field sports programs. We made a case to bring that position back at full-time. It's absolutely critical. We went from a full-time staff person and a regular part-time staff person pre-pandemic, which was 70 hours, to we were part-time for a period of time, then we were 3/4 hours, which was 30 hours a week. We're now at 40 hours a week, but at least we're safe from being, CalPERS has a limit to the number of hours a person can work per year. So as a full-time sports coordinator, we're no longer limited by the 1560 CalPERS hours. So that really is extremely helpful to us, because we can, in an event of an emergency or something comes up, that full-time sports coordinator is able to work, isn't going to exceed their hours, and we can continue to offer those programs, because we do run our programs with a lot of part-time support, but we absolutely have to have that high-level supervisory experience and those people who can respond to emergencies, train our part-time staff, and deal with any issues that come up with parents and children. So we are very excited to have Brent Almario back, and he is very, very excited to be back. So he's a huge part of our team, and he's done an amazing job in this past year and a half, working part-time and 30 hours. So slide. Now, Monterey Recreation Summer Camps, we are planning for those summer camps. We have not rolled out registration at the moment. Normally that happens at the end of March. We probably will not get registration out at the end of March. We are planning for April, probably April. But we are planning for the return of our traditional summer camps, as I've said before, which is Whispering Pines Day Camp, Camp Kinsabi, Summer Fun Playground Program, as well as all of our sports camps. But right now we're focusing on recruitment and hiring of our summer staff, bringing back some people who hopefully want to return. But again, we're also in competition with everyone else who's looking for part-time staff, not just other agencies that are offering summer programs, but there is a shortage of part-time employees everywhere. So it's not just the hospitality industry, it's everywhere. So it's how to attract these people, make sure we have dedicated, qualified, caring individuals to work this summer. And then we're also just trying to figure out, what does this mean for summer? What does it mean? Is it COVID? What is COVID safe? Is it maskless? Is it vaccinated? Is it, what does that mean? Most of our programs are outdoors, which is even better. So again, recruiting that responsible and caring staff. We also want to provide campership opportunities for people to attend our camps. So we have luckily a campership donation account set up for Camp Kinsabi, Summer Playgrounds, and Whispering Pines Day Camp, but definitely need donations to those accounts, especially day camp and the playground program. Camp Kinsabi has a healthy donation account, but playgrounds and day camp could use some contributions to those accounts. So we will also be focusing on some fundraising efforts and seeking donations for those, because those are the programs that really provide the most childcare for the community, playgrounds and day camp. So again, we want to keep the tradition while also being innovative and fun, and we want to make sure that we are not only attracting our previous attendees, but new attendees who have never attended our programs and may not know who we are and what we do. So that's what we're looking for this summer. Schulte is continuing to serve our seniors and adults. The programs have expanded with Walk the Bay, Walking Group, Bridge, Ceramics. The Meals on Wheels program continues to be a drive-through pickup, which is actually still extremely popular and exceeding the sit-down meal attendance that we used to have before we closed due to the pandemic. And then we offer our senior walk-up produce distribution, which that is a photo of. So they come and pick up produce from the food bank every Monday. And we went from roughly 75 every Monday to 100 every Monday. And then we're just looking to continue to expand our programs each month. El Estero is doing also extremely well. Nate is our recreation supervisor, so he's got his hands full. He's trying to do his supervisor duties as well as the coordinator duties of a community center. So gymnastics is full. We have wait lists. There's still a little bit of space in our parent participation gymnastics classes, but the other gymnastics programs are full. Our hip hop dance and preschool dance are also doing well. We added another day of piano lessons because those are both doing very well at both Hilltop and El Estero. We've added a Saturday toddler age program. And then we're also seeing increased demand for all of our programs. People are looking for more opportunities to recreate. Hilltop is open again on a program based on program schedule. They held a winter break program for the MPUSD school break, and that was fully enrolled. The Pilates for Bone Health, which is actually two separate classes. There's a modified Pilates for those who need to do chair work and can't balance as well standing on their own. And then there's the full Pilates class, and that is extremely popular and doing quite well. Our monthly blood drives are full. So the next 2 months of blood drives are full. So you can register for May and June, but we're typically 2 months ahead in registrations for our blood drives. Again, still taking wait lists for piano because that is full. Ballet and hip hop are doing well. We have a return of our facility rentals, which that is a photo of our bonsai group that has rents our building and holds their meetings and brings their bonsais. So very popular. We are preparing for the return of our adult ceramics program. It's going just a little bit slow, and I have to admit that's just our fault or my fault because we're just so focused on all these different projects that come up who have more immediate deadlines that we haven't been able to bring ceramics back as quickly as we had hoped. We do have a ceramics instructor. She is extremely, extremely qualified, has her master's, and is just probably going to be someone we can really build the program with. So we're hoping that that will start at the end of March. And then we are planning for our spring break program, which follows the MPUSD spring break. That is full for the first week and has a little bit of space for the second week at Hilltop. El Estero and Hilltop are still doing extremely well with preschool. We are safely offering preschool for children ages 3 to 5. They are full with waiting lists. We have waiting lists. We wouldn't have enough of a waiting list to offer a third class, but we are fully enrolled with the 2 programs that we have at each of those centers. And then we're planning for our Tiny Tot summer camp, which was full. I believe those programs were both full last summer, and those are run in June and July. And those are open to all to preschool students, but also new students. So we get a new mix of kids. And then we're planning for the preschool year 22 and 23. And then what's next? We are planning a bunny hop photo op on April 9th. We just had such a successful program last year. We're going to continue that. We're going to change up the background. Our bunny will stay the same. Our Easter bunny or spring bunny never changes, but the background and the opportunity for people to take photos and get a bunny plush and field eggs will return on Saturday, April 9th, which is the Saturday, the weekend before the weekend of Easter. We are planning the expansion of our program offerings based on staff capacity and budget for fiscal year 23. As I mentioned before, we're working on a recruitment and the return of our traditional summer camps, and we are focusing on our software launch. So that is it for Monterey. And then Karen is going to take over for the Sports Center.
Yes, I'm going to do my best to report on the Sports Center since Andrea's been out sick this week. So we still wanted to include some information for you to give you an update. We're doing really well and continuing to grow in attendance each week. We're up about 575 visits per week. We're now, we've sold in the last quarter over 7,000 day passes, which was almost $70,000. Almost 1,500 memberships to equal over $224,000. And our average weekly attendance is over 5,000. So we'll keep working on that. We're hoping now that the mask mandate has been dropped, that people will be more excited and comfortable coming back to the facility. Swim lessons continue to be extremely popular. We would love to be offering even more. We're hiring as much as we can. Poor Tony really has his hands full there, but we were able to offer 402 group participants, and that came to about $26,000 and 833 private lessons. And if it could put in perspective about how many phone calls do you think that takes to book those private lessons, right? So sometimes if you're talking to a mom with a busy family that has multiple kids and you're trying to do multiple appointments, and of course they want them close together and on certain days, but we can't interfere with ballet or other activities. And sometimes they leave a message and Tony has to call them back. So it's a considerable amount of work in order to get those private lessons scheduled, but people are so appreciative of having those available. Next slide. Other programs that are going really well right now is martial arts with 20 to 30 participants per session and equaling about $1,200 per session. Youth volleyball clinics continue to be very popular with 20 to 30 participants earning $1,400 per session. And co-ed volleyball was full with 5 teams earning $1,700 in revenue per session. Personal training, Lori was so excited to report that we had a fantastic January with selling 50 training packages that equaled $17,000 in revenue. To kind of put it in perspective, last quarter, we had about 44 training packages, and that was for the full quarter for $25,000. So this single month was a really good month for us, considering that it's one of our newer programs that we've reinstated since the pandemic. In February, we also had a free family fun night from 3 to 8 p.m. to invite people to bring their friends and family to visit the Sports Center for free. We gave a lot of tours and people got to try out the facility. We also offered a free Zumba class. We had a cornhole competition, hot shot basketball contest, and we also offered the Whippet obstacle course out in the pool. So that was a free family fun night on a Friday night. So it was pretty good. The Monterey Sports Center revenue is doing well. Our budgeted revenue for this year was just over $1 million. And so far we've brought in $1,384,000. And so if we keep going at this rate, our projected revenue could be almost $1,800,000. So we hope we keep going strong and keep bringing people back and exceeding those expectations and putting some of that revenue into our projected revenue for next year. So what's next for the Sports Center? Fantastic news. As of March 1st, we were able to reinstate our sports coordinator to full time. So this is a long-term employee. I don't know you guys, if you know Ryan Nunez, he's an amazing employee that we've been so lucky to have. He's been with the city for over 25 years. So he knows how to run those leagues like the back of his hand. He's also very familiar with all of our parents and children in our programs. And it was great when we got him back for at least 30 hours, but now that he's full-time, that is going to help us reinstate more sports programs, especially when it comes to like our camps, being able to have a strong adult, mature, seasoned, experienced professional with our sports camps is really just priceless. And like Shannon had mentioned, it's just so important to have that leadership and expertise when it comes to our sports programs. It's amazing on how much conflict resolution you have to have, as well as a lot of PR skills, and as well as being able to handle emergencies for any kind of injuries that happen during sports programs. So I really can't tell you how thrilled we are to have Ryan back full time. So we are planning to have our spring break sports camp, and from what I understand, our enrollment is really strong and looking really good. We're going to continue with our youth basketball clinics. We hope to continue to expand swim lessons. During the mid-year budget, we did request more part-time money so that we can offer more programs. We've been in a really challenging situation where our attendance may not be as high as what we're used to, but the number of services and programs was not as high either. So we kind of got into this chicken or the egg kind of catch-22. Do you wait for the people to come back before you bring back the staff, or do you bring back the staff and the programs in order to bring back the people? So we're really excited about being able to really get a full-blown sports program running. Just like on the other side of the house with recreation, we used to have 70 hours of programming skills in-house, but now that we have Ryan for 40, we think that's tremendous. We will be adding a youth swim academy. I'm sorry, I don't have all the details on that. I think Andrew would be able to speak to that better than I can. Again, the part-time money that we have added for the mid-year budget should help us expand swim lessons as well as our group exercise schedule. We used to have over 100 group exercise classes, and right now we're hovering just over 50. So we're building back slowly. The classes are very popular, and we're really excited to keep that going. We do get requests all the time, like, oh, when are you bringing back my favorite class? You know, everyone has their favorite instructor and their favorite class and their favorite time of day. And we will keep adding those as long as our budget and our recruitment allow us to do that. I'm still working on Amelia's software migration. We're making a lot of good progress on that. It's very challenging going from one software to a completely different software. This isn't just an upgrade. This is a complete overhaul, and that means migrating data. And the data you have may not always fit exactly the same in your new software. So we're doing a lot of data scrubbing and making sure that we have the cleanest and most complete data that we can have when we put it into our new system, so that we have a very clean database when we start up. And then we're also preparing for our summer camps. And again, really excited to be able to have a more robust summer camp offering this summer. Last summer, we had to have a pretty small offering as far as number of children that we could take, especially with pandemic restrictions, financial restrictions, and also supervisory restrictions. So now that we have a full-time person and fewer COVID restrictions and more money for part-time staff, we hope that our summer programs will be even more robust this year. Next slide. What's next for the Parks and Recreation Department? As you know, we're still working on getting those fees increased. So hopefully we'll get through tonight as well as council later this month and have our fees increased on April 1st. We're looking forward to launching our new Amelia store for online registration that will enable more 24/7 access to our programs and services. And I have to say, we've made some great progress on disc golf. They actually signed the contract this week. So now it is off to the city manager's office to get that final signature. They also assure me that they have the money to make those ADA improvements. So we'll have to work with them about how the city can accept that money and get our groundbreaking schedule going for construction. We also crossed a good milestone with Laguna Grande this past week, where we are now got our approval for the plan for the trail maintenance strategy, and we can now move to the environmental review process. So that will take a few weeks, but we'll have to get through environmental as well as some permitting, and then start the implementation process of that plan. Another challenge for that plan will be funding and negotiating with the other agencies. As you know, Laguna Grande is very challenging between all the different jurisdictions with the city of Seaside, the city of Monterey, as well as the Monterey Regional Park District. and deciding who pays for what and who has the funding and how to make that all happen. So that'll be a lot of negotiating that'll be going on behind the scenes between our legislative bodies as well as our city management. And we're in the throes of budget preparation right now. We were given permission to expand the budget by 3% of last year's budget. We're in a little bit more challenging situation than some other departments and divisions in the city because our budget had been cut and slashed so much over the last couple of years. So for us, going 3% more is not as helpful as when we want to get to full-blown strength, right? So we're happy to have that 3%, but we're also are going to be requesting to add more staff capacity, both part-time and full-time. So we hope that the city budget will allow for that, because again, that will just only allow us to expand our programs and services. Right now, it is a really big challenge for us with all the recruitment efforts that we have to do for hiring and training of part-time staff. It's a really competitive market out there, and we're paying minimum wage for a lot of our positions. And so part-time workers really do have a choice of where they work and what schedules they'd like to work and how much they would like to work. The other challenge we have is when you get people who really do want to work and they really need the money, we have that staff hours limitation. So if you are a part-time employee, we really need to limit you to 20 hours a week or 1,000 hours a year. So that is a challenge, that you have to have so many part-time people, have to have a deep bench in order to cover all of your shifts and offer all your programs and services. So along with all our ongoing recruiting and hiring and training, we're working on this budget and hoping that we can get some more full-time and RPT help. I think that's everything for right now. I think that was an older slide, so we can move on to public comments and any questions you may have.
So are there any public comments on this particular presentation? Nate, do you want to fill them in?
Yes, Madam Chair, let me get to that screen. There are two ways to virtually participate in the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. You may join the meeting using Zoom on your computer or mobile device. You can also call into the Zoom meeting. To join the meeting on Zoom on your computer, smartphone, or telephone, use the link or phone number on the agenda at isearchmonterey.org. To call in by telephone, dial toll-free 833-568-8864. Then enter meeting ID 160-566-3903#. And if prompted to enter a participant ID, press pound again. Detailed instructions on using Zoom are available at monterey.org/public-meetings. To make a public comment using the Zoom app, you can virtually raise your hand by pressing the raise hand button on the bottom of your screen. If you dialed in by phone, raise your hand by dialing *9, and then to unmute yourself when called upon by dialing *6. You must do both. Public commenters will be muted until it is their turn to speak. I will call on each public speaker in the order of their hands raised. Please stay within the 3-minute time limit that we have established for today's meeting. Today's meeting is also streamed live on the city's YouTube channel at youtube.com/City of Monterey with an approximately 10-second delay, and on Comcast channel 25 with up to a 90-second delay. We look forward to receiving your public comments. So let's see, we do have one public comment. Jean Rash, you may go ahead and give your public comment.
Thank you, Nate. This is for comments on the presentation, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It was a very interesting presentation, and I'm going to sign up again. It was very exciting to hear that we have the forestry, urban forester in the full-time lead position that was concerning the community. And that it's in-house is even better, because I presume the work of Justin won't fall through the cracks. And that was a concern. And I'll follow up with the urban forester. There was concern in my neighborhood that an adolescent oak tree that was very healthy and beautiful was cut down without a permit. And I was working with Justin on that. And so I will follow up again now that things are more settled in that department. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Nate, is there anybody else on the line?
We have no other public comment.
Okay, public comments are now closed. Are there any questions from the commissioners on the presentation? I will say it's great to see the progress. You guys amaze me as to how much you're able to do with such a short amount of staff. Commissioner Crampton.
I have one question to Shannon. I was wondering, MPC not wanting to share the facilities, is that a permanent decision, or is that based on dealing with the pandemic?
It's pandemic related. They have required all of their students and faculty to be fully vaccinated. They don't know how they can make that a requirement of outside groups. We have a requirement that our staff be fully vaccinated, but don't have that same requirement for our participants. So we're hopeful for things to open up again in the fall.
Okay. And another question on the playgrounds and day camps needing donations. Is there a place where we can go to make donations, or at least, tell friends about it, that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, any donations can be made to the city of Monterey and then sent to the recreation office on 546 Dutra. And we do have a donation account set up for that, where the money will not be used towards anything else. And then it can be designated towards day camp or playgrounds, or that can be a staff decision if you don't have a preference.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner McCarthy.
I actually, Sid just asked the question I was going to ask, and essentially what you've said is bring money or send a check to the Dutra Street address. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
There's no online contribution method at this point.
No, I'm trying to think of. There is not. Sometimes I think in the checkout process, if you're already paying for a class, you might be able to add an additional amount, I think. But our new registration software hopefully will allow us to take a donation as well. And that will be a much smoother process.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? If not, let's move on to the approval of minutes from the December 8th meeting. Does anyone have any questions or comments on those minutes? If not, would someone care to make a motion?
I move to approve.
I move to second.
Great. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, you can raise your hand or say aye.
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 All those opposed? Now we're ready for public comments on any other topic that's not in the agenda. Nate, I'll ask you to field the comments.
Yes, just as a reminder, if you have a general public comment, press the raise your hand feature on the middle of your screen, or *9 on your phone. We do have one public comment. Jean Rash.
Thank you, Nate. I'm Jean Rash. I'm speaking to you as the president of the Monterey Vista Neighborhood Association on the pickleball negotiations, and I'm sure Shannon will have a full update for you. Neighborhood negotiations to alleviate the problems of pickleball at Via Paraiso Park have been held. 6 neighbors met, 5 from Monterey Vista and 1 from Skyline. 3 of these neighbors play pickleball. 3 others, myself included, represented the interests of the neighbors upset by the impact of pickleball. Shannon Leone represented the city. The professional negotiator was Jackie Pierce, the executive director of the Mandel Gisnet Center. The 8 of us met for 2 sessions of negotiations on January 26th and January 31st for 3 hours each day. By the end, on January 31st, the 6 neighbors agreed on a 3-month trial program of shared use of the 2 tennis courts. 1 tennis court would be for the exclusive use of tennis at all times. The second tennis court would be for the exclusive use of pickleball at all times, limited to 2 pickleball courts and nets on the 1 tennis court. Quiet equipment was mandated. There would be no storage of equipment. It was agreed that at the end of the 3-month experiment, community input received during this time would be reviewed. The goal is that if the community is pleased by the proposed plan during the 3-month trial period, the 2 pickleball courts would be permanent. The negotiation team met again on February 15 to fine tune. The pickleball negotiators were concerned at that time that the Monterey Bay Pickleball Club was not supportive of the proposal. The proposal was taken to the Monterey Vista Neighborhood Association Board, who approved the trial period and the proposed policy. I await follow-up from the city, as does my board. On a personal note, I make pickleball rounds at Via Paraiso Park regularly now. My husband and I walked to the park on Saturday of the President's Day weekend. Pleasantly, the exact proposal the neighbors created in negotiations was in play. 2 tennis players were playing singles on 1 court. 4 pickleball players were playing singles occupied on the 2nd court, 2 on each side using the portable nets. Players retrieved each other's balls as needed and got along fine. A birthday party for a child was happening at the playground. 3 kids were shooting hoops. A couple dads were with toddlers on the playground. It was a perfect day and all were enjoying the park. My message is, we can do this. We can find a way to share the park as a community of caring individuals who wish the best for each other. Hopefully we can move forward with this proposal. I eagerly await the commission and the city's response. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. That sounds encouraging.
Thank you for your public comment. Let me see if
Is there anyone else, Nate, that cares to speak?
we have no other public comment.
Okay, public comments are now closed. We'll now move on to the recommendation to amend and restate the resolution changing the master fee schedule. Karen, would you introduce the topic?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Gibson. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we have a presentation regarding the adjustment of the Parks and Recreation fee schedule.
He's just switching between the.
Yeah, I'm sure he's busy between the public comment.
He's multitasking.
Yes.
One second.
Yeah, and I do apologize. I lost my internet there for a couple minutes during Shannon's presentation.
Oh, I didn't notice. I'm sorry. I was too busy. And when it's a presenting, everyone's very small.
We can also fill you in if you want later. If you want, we could fill you in or have you take a look at the slides. We could send those to you or something if you'd like.
Okay, I'd appreciate that.
Okay, I think we can skip to slide number 2. The presentation tonight will explain the important adjustments to the Parks and Recreation fee schedule in order to balance the needs of the community while also addressing the city's ongoing financial challenges. We will explain the need to raise fees and increase revenue, as well as simplify the Monterey Sports Center memberships. So why adjust the fees now? On top of the need to invest in our infrastructure, the department also has to adjust revenue to the ever-changing cost of operations. The fees have just not kept pace with the increase in expenses. In addition, COVID-19 and the department reductions to staff and services have required us to rethink our business model. Now is the time to capitalize on the culture of change to reimagine and simplify our business processes by leveraging technology to do more. As you know, the department has been grappling with a legacy software system that is well over 20 years old. We're now on the verge of launching a new software system that will enable a more convenient self-service 24/7. Next slide. The general fund budget for the Parks and Recreation Department is close to $12 million. This includes the Monterey Sports Center, multiple community centers, several sports facilities, special programs and events, and parks operations, which includes Veterans Memorial Park Campground and urban forestry. Key factors and operational cost increases include the cost of utilities. They continue to rise and are up approximately 39%. There's also the cost of part-time salaries, with the minimum wage increasing from $8 per hour in 2014 to $15 per hour in 2022. That's an increase of 88%. Not to mention, the part-time labor market is extremely competitive right now, with public and private sectors struggling to attract and retain part-time workforce. The cost of program supplies and materials has also risen, mostly due to supply chain issues and inflation. The Bay Area Consumer Price Index, or CPI, has increased 24% since 2014, or on average about 3.4% each year. Other costing considerations include COVID-19 expenses, such as enhanced cleaning, testing, sick leave, and personal protective equipment, as well as other costs associated with the restoration of programs, services, and staff. Since 2014, the fees have increased 10%, and most recently an additional 5% with the establishment of the Facility Maintenance and Improvement Fund. Keep in mind that the Facility Maintenance and Improvement Fund does not address the rising cost of staffing, utilities, supplies, and services. Because of this, the Parks and Recreation Department is recommending a proposed fee increase for both residents and non-residents alike. Next slide. Next up, simplifying sports center memberships. The Monterey Sports Center membership structure was created nearly 30 years ago, and both the fitness industry and the recreation industry has evolved since then. Technology has also transformed the way the community shops for programs and services. Customers now conduct research, register for programs or services, or purchase products all from the palm of their hand, anywhere, anytime, day or night. As you may have noticed, the Monterey Sports Center has a wide variety of memberships based on age, residency, and length of time commitment. That's 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. Our proposed model still includes a multitude of options based on age and residency, only now we'd like to add a teen membership for 13 to 17-year-olds. Because 9 to 12-year-olds have a less access to fitness amenities at the Sports Center, we thought it was only fair to charge a lesser price. Also, to be more congruent with other gyms in the industry, we'd like to add a monthly subscription membership where individuals or families may pay for a membership by the month with an auto pay method, either through their credit card or electronic funded transfer, or EFT. Because there's no time commitment for this membership type, and since patrons may cancel at any time, we think this model simplifies sales and renders the 3 and 6 month options unnecessary. So for those who prefer to pay in advance, as well as receive the best value, we will continue to retain the annual pay in advance membership. So just to recap, the new model will include teen memberships, a monthly subscription membership with auto pay or EFT, and annual pay in advance memberships. Another new feature is all the memberships will now be available online. This is a brand new service that we will roll out with the new software this spring. Next slide. Potential revenue generation. Based on post-pandemic revenue projections, the fee adjustments may generate approximately $105,000. If the department reaches pre-pandemic revenue levels, the fee adjustments could generate approximately $275,000 per year. If the fees are approved to start April 1st, there's a potential to earn an additional $26,000 this fiscal year. Next slide. So in conclusion, staff requests that the Parks and Recreation Commission consider recommending to the City Council to amend and reinstate the master fee schedule to adjust the Parks and Recreation fee schedule effective April 1st, 2022. Next slide. This concludes the presentation, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
So commissioners, do you have questions of Karen or the staff on this proposal? If not, are there any public comments?
As a reminder, if you'd like to make a public comment, press the raise your hand feature on the bottom middle of your screen, or *9 if you've dialed in by phone. We have no public comments.
Okay, so public comments are now closed. Returning to the commissioners for any questions, any more comments before we need to take a vote on this?
Yeah, I have a question. I just wanted to make sure that at this moment in time, we were just doing everything we needed to be doing. Is there any locked on or change or push a button or anything?
Is everything legit? Okay.
Oh, it's progress. Would a commissioner care to make a motion?
I move that we approve the fee schedule increase as proposed.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Lacey. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the motion carries to recommend the proposal to the council. It's time for staff comments. Karen, do you want to start us out?
Yes. Again, I just want to say how thrilled I am to have our full-time sports coordinators back. I really couldn't even believe it on March 1st. Like, I had to pinch myself because it was just so amazing to actually have that happen. As far as pickleball goes, they did a lot of work with their negotiations. They put in the time and the effort. However, our impression is that the proposal is not unanimous with both groups. So we're going to take some time to look at both of those and meet with the city manager's team to review all of those proposals, and then come back to the groups with some information. I wanted to say quickly that the cemetery has actually been doing an amazing job with their revenue there. Louis spoke to it very quickly. Sometimes we don't realize that there's really only one key person there working in the office and one key person keeping all of the grounds, and our sales have just been through the roof. I get comments that Scotty is just very friendly and accommodating, and that they've had friends that go to Scott because of references from people that he's helped. He's also a very compassionate person and has helped people through a very difficult time in their life when they have a loss of a loved one. Sometimes it's advanced sales, but sometimes he's actually having to work with people in crisis. And he's just doing an excellent job there, managing all of the records, making sure things get cleaned up. We have all these old books that he's updating and getting it into the software system, but also thinking of new ways to generate revenue. So we've been working on the ossuary, and that's getting closer to getting done, so that we'll have that service on site where people can scatter ashes in a community forum. So that's pretty exciting. So that'll be going hopefully to council with the budget on our new fee schedule. Let me see here. We're looking forward to the recruitment for a recreation supervisor. We're hoping we'll be able to open that to replace Tice in his old position. We're so grateful that he was promoted to the assistant urban forester and able to keep his skill set in-house. So he's going to grow and do very well in the assistant urban forester position, but that we're keeping all of his knowledge and expertise in-house to help us when we bring the new person on board. So we're very excited about that. We're looking forward to planning a new summer that's going to look more like summers of the past. So we're very thrilled about doing that. I want to thank our staff for continuing to work tirelessly. The staff works incredibly hard and they work really well together, and I'm just so appreciative of that. But I also want to extend my thanks and appreciation to you as a commission for all of your support and patience with us. It's not easy for us, and we can go through a lot of challenges, but your support and encouragement, even in between these meetings, I can't tell you how meaningful it is and how helpful it is, and how I can feel comfortable calling you if we need advice or guidance or support at any time. Our whole staff really appreciates it. So I just wanted to make sure I verbalize that. So thank you.
Shannon, if you're up.
So I feel like I did give a pretty good update of what is happening in recreation, what's coming for recreation. Again, please share the word that we are hiring for summer. We really need part-time staff. Thank you very much. We're actually hiring year-round positions and summer positions, and we're looking for high school and college students in particular for summer. We need a blend of both high school and college. And we typically have a group of people who return every summer, but after more than a 2-year break, we have less people returning. People move on, they've graduated from college, those type of things. So this is definitely a rebuilding year, especially for us with our traditional summer camps like Camp Kinsabi and Whispering Pines Day Camp. Last year, we did run a program very, very similar to our traditional playground program. So that is, well, we do need the staff. I feel very confident, and we have Misty True, who is typically responsible for that program, and she does a great job. So we're just really needing the support and the help for the summer camps, the traditional camps. And so please share the word. Anyone you know, anyone who has children of that age, please pass that on. We definitely need them to fill out an application. Everything is online. You know, we have an amazing team in the recreation division. We are planning for our fiscal year 23 budget, and it is just a 1-year budget. We're still in COVID. It's not completely done. I feel comfortable planning for 1 year, not necessarily a 2-year budget, just because 2 years seems really hard to plan for when everything changes so much. So we have plans to expand, hopefully get another key person, some additional part-time money, some additional operating supplies and things, because again, we're affected by the increases in the inflation, and the gas prices and the vendor costs are all going up as well. So we're planning for hopefully an expansion of programs and increase in revenue, because we are seeing the demand for our programs. We have an incredibly strong team in Nate Coda, our recreation supervisor, who took my phone call this afternoon and said, help, we need a presentation at the last minute. And then we are, unfortunately, if you haven't heard already, Diane Tannehill is going to be moving to a different position in the city and leaving the Parks and Recreation Department and the Recreation Division. And she was one of our core group of people who was with us when we got cut down to 4 people. So it's like, you know, one of the core 4 is leaving. So, excuse me, sorry, Diane. So anyway, it's a huge loss for us, and we wish her well. And you may not see her at our next PRC meeting. We're going to see about that. But, you know, she is such a huge help. Sarah Zeal, our recreation coordinator at the Schultz Youth Center, is working very closely right now with Diane to pick up in some of the things. So there is a transfer of knowledge. And because we're still in recreation and rec track, we're still trying to make that transition to our new software. And so we have to have that, you know, that knowledge. And we're, you know, also in the middle of budget in summer. You know, Rachel Dice is doing an amazing job at Hilltop and coordinating a huge facility for us up there and bringing back new programs and new instructors. So hopefully we'll have a chance to show you a really good update, an amazing update of ceramics in the next go around, because the instructor who we hired just blew me away with her. You know, we've had a long-term instructor before, but this instructor has, you know, like a graduate degree in ceramics and has the abilities that just blow our minds. So you may want to take a ceramics class. So, you know, everyone, Brent Almario is back. We've got a really, really strong core team. I love working with everyone, and we're just really excited. So if you ever have any questions about anything, don't hesitate to give me a call, reach out to me. Anything, we appreciate everything. Lacey, thank you again for taking my phone call last time. I'm so sorry it did not work out. But yeah, thank you very much. And that was it.
We are really going to miss Diane, but I just keep telling myself, because I think I've been in denial about it. So Diane, I'm sorry I didn't mention it tonight, because I really think I'm still getting my head around it. But we keep telling
I'm gonna say all the commissioners are in shock.
I know. So we keep telling ourselves she's only a phone call away. Like, her brain is still going to be with the city. We'll still be able to hear her voice on the other side of the line. So
yeah, but she'll be on the wrong side of the street. That's the
I know. She'll be close to Louis though. Louis can just
Right.
walk right over her, right over to
Yes.
her office and talk with her. So that's a good thing. So I truly think I've been still in denial about it. But we are going to miss her, but we are glad that she's staying with the city. And we know that she'll always be there for us if we have questions.
Good. Well, I know we'll miss you. Louis, it's your turn.
Okay, so we have a Rotary's doing another tree planting at Whispering Pines this Saturday. Thank you very much. And Blue Zone is going to be doing a cleanup at Laguna Grande Park this Saturday also. And so on the 19th, we're having our cutting day. I think it's 65th cutting day. And I haven't been there for all of them, but I've been there for most of them. So we're looking forward to that. So we'll be spending next week bringing in a bunch of plants and giving them away on the 19th. That's it for me.
I'll be there at cutting day. I told
Thank you.
I'd help it on the VIP table.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So commissioner comments. Anyone can start.
I have a question. When does cutting day start in the morning?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you, one and all. This, I think, seemed from our end to go smoothly. And it's good pickleball news and new hires or increased hires. Thank you. It's so encouraging.
I want to echo that. And I also want to say thank you, Diane, so much for your service, especially during these last couple of years. I know it's really meant so much to our whole community that you served as well as you did. So thank you so much.
Sid or Dennis, do you have any comments?
Just a couple of real quick ones. One, just to follow up on what Louis said. My Rotary Club, the Rotary Club of Monterey, along with Monterey Pacific and Cannery Row, are all going to do that planting on Saturday at 9 o'clock at Whispering Pines of about 20 trees. And the point of mentioning that is, you know, we managed to get through Rotary a district grant. And the point of that is, it's that kind of collaboration where we can help put up some money and get something done for the city, you know, that doesn't come out of the city coffers. So more and more of that kind of collaboration, I think, going down the road certainly would benefit, you know, the city and citizens. So just take a look around at who you know and see what you can do to make some of those kind of things happen if possible. Two, just a real comment, personal comment, and that is Ryan Nunez. Many of you probably know Ryan, but Ryan is awesome, both in his sports knowledge, you know, and recreation knowledge, but also in his personal skills. And I've said this before to the group, but he helped raise my two kids at the sports center. They started when they were 4 years old and 1 year old, and they're now 31 and 26. And Ryan helped form, from my perspective, through the sports programs their personalities and how they sort of view the world. So, you know, I'm just so glad to hear he's back full time. And third, I'll close. And I've already spoken with Diane, you know, directly on this, but I just wanted to say again, thank you, you know, for all you've done, really for the staff, for us as commissioners, but really for the citizens of Monterey in terms of getting things done in the recreation department. So kudos to you and enjoy your future life. Thank you.
Sid or Christian, do you guys have anything you want to say? I guess what I'd say the same thing, Diane. We'll sorely miss you. I mean, I'm glad for you, for your career. I'm sad for us in terms of the recreation department. Shannon, kudos to you to being the person that sat in on the pickleball negotiations. My hat's off to you. And just sort of a sidelight, I mean, I guess I'm in a club who's actually interested in doing a cemetery tour. So maybe, you know, there are a lot of famous people buried in that cemetery. And so, you know, maybe Halloween, you can do tours and, you know, maybe make some money that way. I'm certainly looking forward to it.
Mhm.
And I don't really have anything else to say. I'm hoping that this fourth time was the trick that we needed. Other than that, you know, thank you guys for showing up. Remember in the back of your mind, I think I heard donations. That little donation we get for our commitment to the commissioners always makes a nice little donation treat at some point in time if you are so inclined. Anyhow, other than that, I don't have any other comments. So I guess I will declare this meeting adjourned. You guys have a good evening.